When we usually mean lo-fi aesthetics, we mean sounds that are slightly degraded, distorted, a bit dirty, a bit grungy, so that the sounds get this kind of color, this kind of character,
you know, a bit more authentic type of sounding for some people. So in today's tutorial, we're going to talk about all those native Ableton effects that would allow us to get this kind of sounds. So let's have a look.
So the first effect that we're gonna see is the saturator. So the saturator gives this effect of saturation, adding characters of punch, warmth, and also some grungy feeling if you really wanna push the level. So let's play the track without the saturator. And we're gonna add now. So as you can see, as I'm pushing the saturator, I'm also bringing the background sounds that were behind the beats. And we have different categories, so we can go to art curve if you really want to give that grungy feeling. You can, adjust the dry wet. So saturator can give that slightly distorted effect that we all like. Then we have Ableton Redux. So redux, it's an effect which degrades the sound quality by using the downsampling or beat reduction. So let's play the song without the redux on, and adding redux now. So as you can hear, it's degrading by far the effect now. So now we just leave it 303, for example, and we can have the dry wet, just to have that sample, that ringing sound. Then we have the Ableton erosion. So the erosion slightly distorts the audio by modulating a short delay with the filter noise. So let's just play the loop without, and we're gonna add the erosion now. So it's adding this sort of filter noise of a sine wave that creates a digital sounding distortion, which sounds a bit like the beat crusher. And when I'm going to the frequencies, or you can change white noise, so it's adding a bit of noise on top as well. So the erosion gives a very tiny little distortion. Then we have the Ableton pedal. So pedal can be defined as a device that resembles the stomp box pedal used in electric guitar, but is also used to run regular audio signal and give them some creative characteristic. So let's play without, and so as you can feel, we have three algorithm: fuzz, distort, and audio. So you can always go dry wet, 22%, even less, and you have the possibility to leave the sub-bass frequencies on. Then we have the Ableton amp. So the amp is an audio effect that delivers warmth and drive, and it's actually developed together with Softtube, which is another company, as you can see here. So amp, as the name saying, sort of emulate the sound of a amplifier, but in our case we can have it for other things as well. So let's play without and with. So you can go through different algorithm. You can have clean, boost. Here I add everything on maximum. You can choose mono or dual, mono or stereo, sorry. You can go to a heavy one as well. Which I use a lot for some of my electric production. So essentially, those are the stock plugin that produces this Wi-Fi aesthetics. Now let's go to play a track I was working on, which all the sounds has one of those effects on it. Okay, so this is a track I started actually on the Ableton Note, the iPhone application, and I really liked it, and I was using a lot the beat crusher, the redux effect, to some of the percussive sound, and then I developed the idea behind it. So each channel feature either a saturator, a pedal, or redux, or erosion, and all the sounds have all those kind of effects on them. So let's play the track and listen how it sounds. So all the sounds quite grungy, quite gritty, quite dirty, because I loaded all these effects that I just listed before into this track. So I'm gonna play the track now without all the effect that I make to make the sound dirty. So I'm just gonna let's see how it sounds. So that's the track without any of the effect. We sound now, it sounds nice and clean. So the first sound is a 808 kick. So that's the kick without the lo-fi effects on. So I just put a saturator with a hard curve, a redux, and erosion. And you see it's bringing out the harmonics, it's bringing out the character and the grit, the grunginess. Then on the second channel, it's simple drums, hi-hat and a clap. Then with the lo-fi on, is reducing it into a trash bin. Perhaps a little bit accentuate. Then on the third channel, I have a collection of Foley sound, just Foley sounds with a lot of a big reverb on it, and then with the lo-fi effects on, sounding really almost cutting off. Then on the fourth channel I have another drum. It's just a simple hi-hat with a closed and open hi-hat. This time I use just the redux. You can see when the redux is also adding but it's adding a lot of more medium bass frequencies in it, so making the sound a bit heavier. Then on the fifth channel I have a pad that with the lo-fi effects on is really bringing out the harmonics and everything else, and perhaps it's a bit too strong, so I can always control the dry wet. Then on the sixth channel I have a bass line, which sounds really nicely by itself, but with the lo-fi on it's much more powerful and confident. Then when we add all those pedal, redux, overdrive, saturator, erosion, we get this kind of different sort of character, sort of drive and color. A bonus tip that I have, it's basically I added the vinyl distortion effect loaded with some of shifter, pitch arc, echo, erosion and redux, and all those effects together combined gives me this very echo chamber spring reverb sounding vinyl distortion. So this Ableton vinyl distortion plugin supposed to create the dust sound of the needle that passes to the vinyl. Obviously it's very digitalized version, but this effect with all those Ableton effects next to it combined gives me much more dirt feeling into my track. So it's adding a layer of dirtiness to my track. So I'm gonna play the track with this sound on. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video and learned the science behind the lo-fi aesthetics. And if you want to support me, like always, like, subscribe and comment my video so that it helps the algorithm and pushes my video up so that I can monetize and, buy a pizza. And I'm also setting my Patreon, finally, and I am uploading this tutorial of the lo-fi effects. All the effects are already stacked up in the channel. And also I'm preparing other Ableton project from other previous tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you at the next one.